G'day folks, Adam from Ruslan Foundry here. Tonight we're having a look at how to assemble the 16mm Corris coach. In this case we are assembling a double saloon, but the assembly instructions are the same for the saloon brake. We're also in this case assembling the short wheelbase coach with buffers. The longer wheelbase setup for bogie mounted couplers is pretty much the same. So in your kit you get 2 halves of your chassis, 4 buffers, 2 sliding doors, 2 sections of your roof. In this case we're doing the clerestory roof. The round top roof, it goes together exactly the same. Our 2 body pieces, these are handed. 9 seats, 1 body infill, 4 buffers, and 4 5mm magnets and 4 4mm magnets. Your tools required for assembly, also you get 4 pieces of 2mm styrene rod, 4 pieces of 2mm carbon fibre rod, and 2 pieces of 1mm carbon fibre rod. Now your required tools for assembly are going to be a 2.5 or 2mm clearance drill bit and a 4mm drill bit, as well as your adhesive, the trusty ball fix. So what we'll start with is putting the roof together. So the roof has got pilot holes. You want to run your drill bit through those. I've already done this step, but you driving it whichever way you want, either with a pin drill or a drill, doesn't matter. We take our carbon fibre rods and we insert them into sockets in the roof. We then take our glue, and we liberally put it over the mating surface. Next we get the other half of our roof and put our carbon fibre into the holes. Actually, before we do that, we'll just put a little bit of glue just into the holes. Thread those together and squeeze it together like so. Then you just want to give the seam a wipe so that any excess glue goes away. While we're on the roof, we'll put a dollop of glue in our wells, and we'll grab our 5mm magnets and put them ideally the same way around so that there's no polarity issues. Because these instructions are very similar to our 7/8 scale model. So that is the roof finished. We can put it aside, ready for paint. Next we'll give the chassis the same treatment. So we take our chassis, we've got more holes that you want to remount to 2mm clearance fit. We get our glue, because I've already done that step, and we want to put a bit of glue into the holes that the carbon fibre goes into. Get our carbon fibre rods. Now these come at 200mm. You want to shorten them to around 180. one's taking a little bit of convincing in. There we go. And the same as with the roof. Take the other half of our chassis. We apply a little bit of glue to there. Thread it onto the carbon fibre rods, pushing it together till it's firm. Now we turn it over. We take our styrene and we want to thread that through these supports and through and through. We want to just get a feel for where it's going to end up. Come back a tiny bit. And we want a pair of scissors. Okay, we've got a pair of pliers. We've pulled that back a little way. We just want to snip that. Putting some glue into this hole. And we just hold that down gently with our finger, guiding that down into the hole. And we've gone a little bit too far. And annoyingly, one piece of styrene is just not quite enough to do the job. So we now put a bit of glue in this hole. We push a second piece through there and about there. Put some glue in that hole. Twist him up a little bit and drop him in like so. And then I like to just put a little bit of glue on these seams as well. Okay, now we do the same thing on the other side. Threading the rod through. Cut it about there. Discard that short piece. A little bit of glue in the hole. A little bit of glue in the hole, seeing as we're holding the glue. We push that through to there. Twist it up, push it down, job done. So, and that is our chassis completed. Or at least for the time being. So we'll set that to one side. Next we take our doors, and I've taken the liberty of pre-fitting a magnet into that one. So we get our door, we get our 4mm drill bit, okay, and we put some glue in this hole. And we press a magnet into there. So yes, we want to remount that hole with our 4mm drill bit, which I had dropped on the floor. We'll reapply our glue and simply push that onto the magnet. So now we have a magnet on the door. Alright, now our two doors are done. We take our coach bodies. We need to make sure this hole is suitable for our 4mm magnet, which is a little bit awkward to do. but it can be done. And while we're holding the drill bit, we'll do the other side. And now, ensuring that we get our polarity right, we'll put some glue in. Take our magnets apart. Now this should be okay. And we want to separate the bottom magnet. One of the easiest ways I've found to apply these is on the back of a pair of pliers, and we line it up and push it into its little hole. Same again, we recheck our polarity. We stick it to our pliers, separate one magnet from the others, which we have a spare because I'd already done that first door. We take our body and we gently push the round magnet into the 4mm socket. Nice and flush. Then we want to put a little bit of glue in these top wells. Take our remaining 5mm magnets, double check our polarity again. So we want to put them that way up and ease them into their glue-filled pockets. Okay, our next step, we take the bodies, we get our 1mm styrene, not styrene, carbon fibre. There's a series of holes down the length that make up the handrail. We thread that in there, figure out roughly how long it needs to be, and we snip it. And we back that up, put a little bit of glue on the end, back up the other way, same thing. Put that half aside, do the same thing here. Okay, so that is our two halves prepared. Next, we bring our chassis next for the time being, and this is our last step before painting. Come back. Our bodies have got locating lugs on them, sockets on them, and there's lugs on the chassis. That locks in there, tucking in nicely behind our buffer beam. We get our other end. These have to go this way around to line up to the door tracking. And our last step before paint is we take our infill. This has a notch in it to fit over the chassis. And it drops in like so. So we'll pick that body chassis up, we'll turn it around, laying it that way so it's easier to see. And we want to apply some glue to these lugs. And I like to run a bead of glue down these seams as well. And just smooth that out, helping to fill the gap, and just make sure it's nice and strong. And do not pick it up like that. This time we'll pick it up by the buffer beams. Now that is where we are at for the time being. Next step would be to take it apart, take it out to the workshop and paint it. Just going to apply a little bit more glue to the top of that. So we're going to leave the glue to set, and we will come back to this a bit later on. Now we're back with the glue dried. Now at this point you would take these models out and paint them. So we have our chassis module, our body module, and our roof. So we would have painted our buffer beams and our buffer units separate. These just want a little bit of glue and they drop straight into their sockets. I've made them separate parts, mainly because I'm not very good at lining. And I've put a hole in the middle of the buffer beam that you can screw a hook into or use to locate whatever means you want to use for your chains. As far as our body assembly, we want to cut a length of timber, is what I've used on my coaches, to suit these mounts sticking out for the running board. I don't include that in the kit because different people like to use different things. Our next step, we take our body, being a little bit careful because it's a little fragile. We take our doors, we slide them into the slots and let the magnets pick them up and hold them the right way up. We turn that back over, align it. We would then run a bead of glue around the edge of that, around the extremities of the chassis, lowering the coach body into place, thus giving us our coach and our doors that we can, if we wish, open and they hold shut. Next we take our seats. Remember there are 9 of these seats and they simply glue in, a little bit of glue on the bottom, a little bit of glue on the back, 4 in each compartment. They sit with a small gap between them around the locating peg. And then a single seat in there, backed up to there. We would, of course, follow that in that section, or in the case of the guards van, you wouldn't. And last but not least, our roof magnetizes on the top. Thus, we have our full coach. If you wish to put people in it, the roof simply comes off. And there we have the Corris coach in 16mm. This is available on our Facebook page with a link to that page in the description. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this content, these videos with the coaches tend to be have a bit more length to them and be a little more rambling. Please like, share and subscribe and so on. I hope you've enjoyed this and have found it informative, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.